One, two. Mic check, mic check, mic check. One, two. Peace, Sage. Peace, Kismet. Peace, that crazy. So you getting it in on the JO? Can y'all hear me? One, two, one, two. If you can hear me, let me know, please. Give me a one or something. One, two, one, two. Let me go back over here to where I'm. Okay, let me make sure I'm got my mic. Oh, okay. There you go. I appreciate it, Mommy. Bet, bet. Hope all is well with everybody out there this evening. Uh, a lot going on in the world. I'm sure I don't need to tell. Say said cleaning the house. That's what's up. That's a good thing to be doing right now. Any little minor things that help restore order when there's chaos everywhere, so it seems. So I got a lot of stuff that's on my mind. And of course, as usual, I got to try to figure out how to balance this and make it make sense. But first thing before we get started, oh, Alamak. Oh man. Really Julie need to be breaking down that Alamak. Um, because she's the one that crazy who brought that to my she discovered, I think, from the way she explained it, I think she discovered it by just taking the anagram of Kamala, and then it turns out that that anagram actually matches up um, with the star Alamak. And there's the uh, Elimelech's Elamites in the Bible that Joshua is led to go to war against. Joshua, Yeshua. So I gotta dig into that one some more. Um, but I think it's all connected. And yeah, just the timing of that, of everything with what is associated with Alamak, the fixed star, and Diwali connecting to Venus, and yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I to do it justice, I need to sit with it. Um, but peace, Natalia. Um, let's see, where do I want to begin here? Let's just talk about the ongoing jousting match between Mars and Pluto. And let's look at some of the word associations that we can deal with. You have Mars, which is the god of war. So there's always the war aspect with Mars. When you look at the glyph of Mars, it even denotes moving forward. Peace, Tony. It denotes moving forward and not looking back. Let's let's go. Since I'm on Zoom this evening, got the luxury of my good old whiteboard. Let's go and do this. Let's do this. Get it going here. But just a reminder, my webinar is next Sunday, November, what's tomorrow, the 3rd? So it's going to be Sunday, November 10th, 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The mystical almond, seed of chaos and order. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be something worth your time, your attention, and your energy. I can't really some of the things that I'm gonna talk about tonight are alluding to what I will go into deeper when we have this discussion next week. Um, trying to get to the core, the root of things as we um, move through these chaotic times, always trying to figure out what is the common denominator, what's at the core, what's the nucleus. And this will be a discussion that will help bring us back to a nucleus, and it is high level metaphysics, high level symbolism, high level scholarship, high level mysticism, all of it. You will be afforded a bountiful plenty of soul and intellectual sustenance to dine on. So when I get done with this video, I'm going to put in the description. It's in the description of some of my last 3 or 4 videos, the link where you can go and secure your spot in the webinar. Happy Saturday. Peace, peace, mindful moments. Okay. So I was talking about the glyph for Mars, which is the ruler of Aries. Now that's one way. The other way the glyph is written, and I think this one predates the first. This is the other way. Now this one is very telling about um, Mars because it's the exact opposite of this one, which is the glyph we use for Venus. So this is why they are the perfect mate or mates or complement to each other, because they are the exact opposites of each other relative to something as simple as their glyph, where Mars is putting the material world, the mundane, above the spiritual, because Mars is more concerned with the immediate gratification. Venus is putting spirit above the material. So it's more so about the experience of something ethereal or something beyond this world that Venus is more driven towards. But those two in their opposing and also complementary expression, they find each other. So that's one aspect. This one, this glyph of Mars is denoting driving forward thrust. This is how the egg is able to join with the sperm. And we've been taught that the sperm goes and almost like it's attacking or penetrating the egg, but really the sperm is swimming for its life and the egg decides which one of these um, it will choose to accept. But this is the basic movement of that life force. It is going forward. It's not trying to meander back down, the canal. No, it's like, I'm trying to go, man. Just my chance. They say they just like people lining up trying to be chosen in American Idol, you know, all these sperm trying to get accepted. And so here's Mars thrusting forward. This thrusting nature of this glyph is the arrow, it's the bullet, it's the knife, it's the phallus. It's anything that punctures, anything that pierces, anything that um, goes forth. That's Mars. So that's one aspect of what we got going right now. Pay attention to combustion vehicles, how people are using them, because the combustion vehicle becomes an expression of the driver. And make it perfectly clear that I'm staying as far away from any polls or anywhere where people the people keep coming knocking on my door. I'm having to run people off my from my front door. Uh, uh, are you so and so? Our records show you have not participated. It's like, well, this sign here says no solicitors, and that includes you. Yeah. Well, I'm with no, that includes you. No soliciting. If you're not with FedEx, UPS, Amazon, and crazy ass DHL, they them schizophrenic. If you're not with one of them, then you are not to ring this doorbell. But they're coming. Um, why did I even bring that up? Oh, because what you'll notice that was a preface to what I'm about to say. So not to suggest that um I, either way in this debacle that's going down. But notice the people in the trucks. The we're not gonna take it's those people in the truck. This was amazing about people, especially down here. If you're already living in the place that is being governed, if you will, and is using is flying its flag to represent its governance over this landmass. Why do you need to reiterate this on your vehicle when that's the flag that resides over, or the flag that denotes or is associated with the current ruling body of the landmass? So you see, they have them, it's like, we got to let you know just a little extra, this is so and so. And those tend to be the people who drive the most aggressively, very angry, you know. And so they're a great group to really watch of how this Martian combustive energy is moving forward, being propelled. And it's being propelled because opposing it is a force that is greater than it. Mars is a malefic, and Mars is warlike, but Mars is not the same as Pluto. Pluto is not demonstrative. Mars is demonstrative. It is in your face. Pluto is like the all encompassing force of darkness. Darkness is not loud. Darkness does not announce itself. It just moves like, ooh, a force. That's Pluto. it's an intensity that builds. That's why when Pluto moves into a sign, it's not like Mars is faster. As we go from Mars further on in, as far as the inner planets, their transits are more immediate. We feel them. Pluto is like when we were children, we would watch those old cartoons. It'd always be somebody trapped in this room and the walls are caving in on the character. And that's probably a better definition for Saturn. But I mean, I'm gonna use this as the walls representing a force. Just this force, this wave just coming in of compressed, powerful, growing in intensity energy. So here you got this force, this ever increasing force that is doing like this with an antagonist. And then because these energies imbue us, the old saying, the stars impel, they don't compel. Well, if you don't have already a certain measure of an inner compass or GPS, then they do compel you and you become grabbed by these grahas, as they call it in the Hindu tradition, the grahas, the nine grabbers. You literally get grabbed. And, there's a great deal of war energy in the air. People want to go to war, you know, but the problem is that if you have been raised in an animal husbandry society where basically, although you don't know it, subconsciously, you have been um trained to always act like an animal. You eat like an animal. You respond to things like an animal. You respond out of pure survival. Um, you like an animal, you either eating, fornicating, um, relieving yourself, or you're fighting. And that's pretty much, if you want to be honest, that's pretty much the overarching system that's called animal husbandry. If you have never aspired to be anything beyond that, then energies as strong as these, it's you have no recourse. You are immediately grabbed. You get grabbed even if you are introspective, even if you are reflective, you still can get grabbed. But here's the difference. Like when Hulk would spaz out when David Banner become Hulk, and then after a while he start like coming back to himself like, oh man, what am I doing? Why are my pants all toe up? Um, so he comes back to himself after a while. And I think the degree to which we deal with ourselves when we are sane will regulate how long bouts of insanity will last. The measure to which we are working on ourselves when we are sane gonna have a lot to do with our ability to regulate insanity because we're all subject to that shit by being down here. You know, that's part of the agreement of being in this realm. You got to, in esoteric astrology, these are rays, and you're imbued by these rays. Um, there's a lot of divisiveness in the air. And it is being diabolically used. It is being diabolically used. And part of what I want to get into with this discussion is, Cal, is some things that I think are going to emerge out of this energy we're in of Pluto opposing Mars. And we basically got this, is we're going to be dealing with this up until the early part of 2025. This is going to carry us into 2025. So when Mars Mars will station retrograde early December at 6 of Leo. So first of all, when Mars makes his ingress, which is Monday, I think, makes his ingress into Leo, this is ego on steroids. So this is going to just add more fire to the furnace. Ego, 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 you know, machismo, um, chest all out, you know, beating. This is beating the chest. This silverback gorilla, energy right here. So we're dealing with all this, and then when we get to December, it will station retrograde at 6 of Leo. It will move back to 17 of Cancer. Okay. So we get a little bit of relief as far as its the immediacy of its opposition to Pluto. But then when it climbs back forward, by the time we get to April, here we go again. It's opposing Pluto again. And so we don't really get a break until like late April going into May. And so I foresee that this grand tension is going to further move forward the agenda of this new world. And I don't think this new world is going to be one cohesive world. I think what's going to happen is going to be a lot of splintering and fragmenting. And we got to think Pluto is going back into Aquarius, and it's going to stay. It will not retrograde back into Capricorn for another 200. It will not be back in Capricorn for another 240 something years. This 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 the last time Pluto will retrograde back into Capricorn. From here on out, when it's retrograde, it'll just be in Aquarius. So now think about what Aquarius is. For one, Aquarius is community. It is because Leo is me. It's me showing love. It's me centered. It is me pushing out blood from my heart. Leo's the heart. So it is me showing love, me giving pleasure. Okay. Um, Aquarius is receiving love. So you are able to be amongst those who would normally give out love the way you do. So you're able to receive it because you're amongst common energy, community. That's one facet of Aquarius. Aquarius is innovation. So let's just take innovation and community. There will be more innovative ways of approaching community. And with the fact that part of Mars transit will be through Cancer in its fall, and Cancer deals with family, for one, that we're going to see that new families emerge, meaning the idea of family, I think, is going to become more of who do you have more in common with, that will become more of what family will become. I think a lot of things are going to go back to analog. You see all these dystopian shows. They've been showing them for especially since like 2015. Really been pushing these, and so many that you forget about them because they show you all this stuff. You see, like, damn. Then time goes on, you forget. You forget about Black Mirror. You forget about Helix. You forget about 3%. I'm talking about shows that I actually could watch when I had time before the the last two children came along. So I'm not up on the new things, but Fringe, what they were showing where we can see things now that were shown 8 years ago and 10 years ago on some of these shows. Um, that there will be people who will be part of everything. Everything's great. All the greatest new technology. Every time something new, jump on it. Oh yeah, it's cool. Just oh man, stop worrying about this and that. Everything's cool. It's cool. It's convenient. It's convenient. you know, and you can see them. We have a community in North Dallas. It is completely self-contained. And I remember watching them build it. And you can drive by and they're playing volleyball and they got their own softball field. It's a completely self-contained community, but they got it all barricaded or like it's a something on the perimeter, but you can see through and it is huge. And I'm looking at this, and I remember when I was training, I used to go to this woman's apartment. I mean, it's these high dollar apartments where you're gonna pay what you pay for a mortgage for rent. And she was just have her chest all stuck out, and they had this nice gym. But everywhere you go, you had to beep, beep, beep. I had to go pee one day. It's like she gotta beat me in about three different gates just to go pee. Everything's and she's just and it's what you're doing. You're really living in a prison, a very posh prison. And that is the reward for being able to afford this and that and be part of the look at me and I drive the car that looks like a Sherman tank and this and that and everything new. I can have it. Yeah. But if you choose to maybe question a few things or nah, I ain't doing that. I ain't letting them probe me. Then you might find yourself being forced to have to redefine what community is. And you may find yourself around a group of people who may have to write your own bylaws for how you all will govern yourself within this little thing that you all will create. I foresee that. You know, I foresee, let me preface this. Now, this one's gonna be triggering right here. I'm gonna tell you what I foresee. That one, before I even get to what I foresee, here are the facts. Estrogen levels are rising dangerously in men and women. Let's start with women because naturally we may say, well, women got estrogen, so what does that matter? Like we were talking about, hormones are naturally governed by a master regulator. Okay, we can call it mama or the all. This rhythm was already set. The things that man has done, man as a species, has interrupted this natural rhythm. Okay. So while the woman does produce more estrogen, it is out of balance. And this is why little girls are having cycles earlier and earlier. This is why fertility rates can be mm, challenged, okay? Because estrogen and progesterone have are like a seesaw with each other. And you need to have them in a certain balance to be able to carry a child to term or to even be fertile, be able to be impregnated and sustain the pregnancy. Okay. For men produce more testosterone. So naturally, if men are producing more estrogen, then men will become less like men. And literally the shape of the man's body is changing. Men are becoming softer. Men are becoming more emotional. Men are becoming um more volatile. And you would think that that's more of a but the volatility is more emotionally because it's like you're fighting to try to uh express your manhood to prove it's there because it's less of it actually there when you have less testosterone. There are they're running ads on all social media targeting 20 something and 30-year-olds for erectile dysfunction pills. Look, there is no way you're supposed to be having any trouble at 20, 30, at 40. You're not supposed, so something's happening. Okay. There is men are morphing. Like you see guys, it's a dude, man. I see these dudes like something's happening. You're on Instagram, and you're trying to flex, you're trying to act hard and you're showing yourself workout and the way men work out now, the way they move, they don't even know how to engage their muscles. Not all, but a lot. It's just, and I'm working looking at you on your Instagram and you're doing a low row and doing it wrong. You're not engaging your lats, it's your shoulders all bunched up, you're working your traps, you're not getting nothing out of it. Then you come and flexing like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm thinking, what where these motherfuckers coming from? And everybody got an attitude. Walk around in flip-flops and shit, got an attitude. Like it's I I feel bad for women. A lot of times you gotta choose from these motherfuckers trying to pretend to be hard. Motherfuckers, I be thinking to myself, if I'm just gonna stop there. You get to thinking just some of them you just want to just slap them just so they can just realize just the consequences of just of an attitude. Like nobody thinks there's any consequences, and think about now with Mars opposing Pluto. So now if I'm more aggressive, you know, and this is why gunplay will get so much more prevalent because if you a weak person who cannot fight and is really afraid of being physically, then you're going to be more apt to take something and take it to the most extreme measure of violence. And now you take somebody's life. And we're driving today, and this dude got to be he could barely see over his door. And I'm yielding because I'm turning left. I got to yield to the oncoming traffic till I know whether they're going to go straight or turn. He in a little Mustang. He all revving up. I turn, he come around the right side and try to look. I'm thinking this motherfucker can barely see over the door. He try to look tough. And I'm thinking, I said, I told him, I don't know what I said. I said, I could kick this motherfucker's chest to the back of his. It's just it's, but he probably got a pistol on him. See, this is how it is. Probably got a pistol, and now the pistol becomes the new extension of your manhood. Conversely, they've convinced the women to dress like drag queens with the extravagant accessories that was attributed to drag queens. So here's the other thing about Pluto opposing Mars. It's not like this stuff is just now happening with this aspect, but it's being intensified. Mars is the ego, and Pluto is dark hidden desires. And so a lot of what's hidden in people is now being magnified through their ego or just how they naturally are showing themselves or expressing themselves. But with all that said, this leads up to the controversial thing is that um the lashes out to the moon. I think that polygamy is going to be on the rise. Yep. Not that I'm caping for it, because I ain't, I'm not trying to solicit. I'm just saying in general, I think in some instances, you're going to see it. It might be polyandry in some instances, and it might be polygyny, polygyny, gyno, where there's multiple um women because for this reason. I ain't on no ego stuff. What I'm saying is there's going to be less and less viable men for women. And and less viable women for men, but by nature, when women outnumber men. So I think in some instances, so don't take this personal. I ain't saying so nobody needs to get in the comments. I ain't gonna don't be triggered. If it ain't you, then it ain't. This is a general statement. I'm just talking about and time will tell. I think we're gonna see it. I think we're gonna see more if it's not polygamy, we're gonna see again going back to these communities, kind of like these enclosed. I think we about to roll back to some analog. I think we're gonna have um arranged marriages. I think that's coming back too. I think are you astrologers out there over the next 10, 15 years, you're gonna have people coming to you to want to do more synastry readings, premarital synastry readings, and it might be the parents. Because you got to think in the next 10, 15 years, the millennials are going to be even older. The Gen Zs are going to be even older. And so let me see, millennials start like 19, excuse me, like 1980 or so, I think. And they go from 80 to like 90. What's millennials? Let's say they're 90 or something. Or 90, yeah, 90, 92, somewhere in there, I guess. So if you born, yeah, so yeah. The millennials will be hitting, they'll be hitting in their 40s, late 40s, some of them, late 40s, and early yeah. So some of them are going to have children old enough that they might be considering marriage. They're going to be coming to you astrologers, getting synastry readings, and it's going to be for arranged marriages. That's going to be part of determining, like going back, turning back the clock hundreds of years to where you sit with the astrologer and see, you know, if, where's the Venus in each chart? What do they value? You know, where's the moon? And then when we combine their charts, how is this person going to affect the other person emotionally? Is this person going to deter their confidence? Like they're going to be looking at it. And I think that's going to be coming. I think this Pluto ingress into Aquarius, coupled with this opposition to Mars, and then with the Neptune ingress into Aries, I think we're going to see a lot of things that will be new, but they'll be old. Uh, let's see. Be alone. uh, let's see. What else did I want to touch on? Now, we must be aware that as with this climate too, with this Mars opposing Pluto, that this is a very warlike energy, and the fact that this energy is unfolding on the cusp of Neptune making its ingress into Aries, which is significant because when the Civil War happened, Neptune was in Aries. I'm trying to go back through these old charts. Astro Dinks, they've done a phenomenal job of providing ephemerides back to, shoot, I think they go back 9,000 years or so. I'm trying to see if I got one for around that time because I've been copying some off of, I might not have pulled it. I thought I did for that Neptune. I don't have it, but I think it was around 1861 or two went into when Neptune went into Aries. Let's see. Mm, okay. I don't have it. It's one of these charts. But either way, I know. Oh, Nandy says, how long does this aspect last? It's basically till May, end of April 2025 that we're dealing with um Pluto opposing or Mars opposing Pluto. So it's from now till then. So we got to consider that too, the Neptune's moving in Aries, and that a lot of what's been done now, there's an attempt to really, I think, to enthrall the people and to really get people up into a tizzy. It's being pushed on both sides. Um, Friend of mine sends me a lot of info. Well, we share info with each other. My man Eric, he sent me some stuff from Kim Iverson, where there's some voting place in Pennsylvania, and before the voting's even tallied, they're showing that Kamala Harris won, and they're saying it was just a mistake or da da da, and the people are all in outrage, um and then and she plays it up because she's adding fuel to the fire. Well, how do we know that these Dominion or whatever they call these voter booths and that they've such and such and they're not on the internet and blah blah blah, and so she's feeding the "we're not gonna take it" energy. They're trying to they're cheating. So this is the job of so what appears to be independent media, like, yeah, we're sticking it to the man and we're going to tell the real story. Not to totally dismiss them, because you go to them and you get certain things that you're not going to get on your regular media, a lot of stuff. But you also got to be aware that these people are paid to do what they're doing, and uh, to be able to Monday through Friday produce these programs that rival world news, you got to have backing, okay? And so what a lot of the independent media are doing now, they are stoking the fire, okay? And what's the fire? For the people to be enraged. I I think if it just went on popular vote, if this was, which we know it doesn't. We know that your vote really, really doesn't count the way people think their vote does. The vote counts more for they need you to participate at a metaphysical level to get your energy. Because when you participate, you say, I believe in the validity of this. But I think if it really was going vote for vote, Trump might would win. But I think the play is this. I think it looks like it's inconceivable that she would beat him, because they throwing out all the little, oh, this poll shows that there's no way, blah blah blah. But when they have these other media sources come out and put out this stuff about, look what they're trying to do, it's setting the stage for her winning, and the group that has not won, they have been prodded the whole way along, and including the candidate that they're backing. His role is to, that's what they mean by galvanize. His role is to stir them up. We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. That's it. And they really think that he represents them. Flip side is the other group really thinks that this lady represents them. Okay. The difference is the group behind her is not as prone to go out into the streets and and say we're not gonna, they're not members of the NRA. So it doesn't really behoove. Let's just imagine that someone wants the people to get into a disarray. What if someone does want anarchy? Which side would be more conducive for the anarchical outbursts? The Trump side or the Harris? I'm just critical thinking here. it would be more conducive if he loses and you've had all your other little independent media stoking the flame. Okay. Then you've had the other so-called independent media, people like Roland Martin and who are really championing the other side. And then those people see those clips of him and they feel like they're being antagonized. You see the everybody's in because everybody getting paid. Everybody getting paid. Everybody, both sides getting paid, you know? And then melee breaks loose, and there's something else my good friend sent me, and it's about certain courses of action that have been legislated can take place in the event that that happens. And I'll leave that right there. As my homie Dap say, that's the overlay for the underlay. So we are encouraged to learn to think beyond our immediate emotions and to see the whole picture, which leads me to um which leads me to the show we watched tonight on Netflix called Harold and the Purple Crayon. Is my daughter. She took over. This is what she wanted to watch. Um and so this show is about this character named Harold who's been created, it turns out, by an author, and it shows basically the author is narrating and all of a sudden the voice goes away. And what has happened is the author passes away. And these characters that he created are now lost because they don't have their narrator anymore. And they decide to come to from the quantum or fairy realm to the actual 3D. Now it's got Lil Rel in it, and what's interesting, you got the demeaning stuff, but I'm not gonna get into all that. But we're gonna talk about the metaphysics. Lil Rel's character is Moose, and this other uh lady in there, her character is Porcupine. So basically, Harold was created by this author who wrote the book Harold and His Crayon. And basically, Harold had a purple crayon and he could draw and create anything and it would come into reality. Okay. Now, so Harold took his crayon and created him two friends. So he drew Moose and Porcupine, and he created them to be his friends. So Lil Rel and whoever this other girl is, they are the creation of Harold. So here's this. So there's a lot of demeaning shit too. It's a lot of. Then you got to look at the ethnicity of the person who's playing Harold, and it's some funny. But that's another conversation because symbolism is. That's why you gotta come check out my lecture, this webinar, because I'm telling you, symbolism is people think that I think when you're talking about this stuff that it's just a bunch of conjecture. I'm telling you, symbolism is where it's at. And if you don't study symbolism, you you're always gonna get put in game because stuff will be going right on around you and you don't pick up on nothing. Now, so I'm gonna give you a quick um explanation of how even in something as unsuspecting as this little show, that seemed like it was designed for children, which is where you find the deepest stuff. I'm show you how it's giving up stuff in it, and the purpose of studying. That's something else gonna come back. Studying, like people gonna really seek out teachers, like the old school, like people who actually labor for knowledge. There's nothing more offensive than you labor for something and somebody think they can Google it, and you can't Google everything. Some stuff you gotta really labor for. And it's worthwhile because it it yields fruit exponentially. Hold on, I'm trying to get my mouse out of my other computer. Oh shit, I already got it. Okay. Let's see. Let's get this thing. I don't know why am I. All right. I'm glad it's a damn touchscreen. This whole thing don't wanna. Okay. Now I gotta remember where I was at. What was I gonna? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is Harold, right? And I didn't get a chance to look up what Harold means etymologically. He's the main character. Okay. And he has with his purple crayon, notice the color of the crayon. All right. And think about the timing. This thing is fairly new on Netflix. So it is coming out in the climate, this very thick political climate that we're in right now. And what are we really doing? It's a jousting match between red and blue. And what happens when you mix those two together? You get purple. And so if we were to take this and apply a geometric shape, we got a triangle. And we could imagine that the red is at the base, blue is at the other base, and one could appear to be evil, one can appear to be good, but the perfection, as denoted by the P, and which also means purple, this is the perfection. Let's say that the red is feminine, and let's say that the blue is masculine. Then the P at the top would be the perfection because it would be the equivalent of what we call or what is referred to as the Hieros Gamos, the holy marriage between the masculine and the feminine. This character, Harold, has created two friends, two companions, and they are Moose and Porcupine. Now, what's the significance of that? What's the significance of that? Moose and Porcupine. Now, watch this. Oh, you know what? I got to go get something. Y'all just hold on. All right. So y'all had a chance to sit and look at that. Moose and porcupine. Now, at first glance, there's nothing. It's a kid's movie. It's just, oh, a moose and a porcupine. That's really nothing. But let's start looking at the M and the P. Let me show you how these people who create these things, they are studying. They study so much they put things in such a very subtle way out in our faces. For one, this is mama and this is papa. It's masculine and feminine. Okay. This is monstrous and this is pix. Now you may be wondering what that is. What is monstrous and what is pix? Hold on, I'm gonna find this for you real quick. I'm gonna show you what monstrous and pix are. These are come from the Catholic Church. Let's find one here. Let me go to images. Okay. And I'll share this real quick. Then I'll come back here. Uh, how should I do this? Hold on. I'm gonna have to stop sharing for a second. Then I'll go to the. Let me share. Okay. You should be able to see what a monstrous and pics are. See that? I'm highlighting that. So basically, a monstrous and the pyx. The pyx is the small cylindrical box with a cover used to carry the host outside the church. So that's a phallus. Okay. And the monstrous, this is the pyx, right? And the monstrous is the decorative circular stand made of metal used to display the host. That's the monstrous. This is the pyx. This is the womb. This is the phallus. See the different representations. This is the womb. This is the phallus. Okay. All right. How do I stop sharing that? Okay. And let me go back to my whiteboard. You shared. No, I don't need those. I need to go back to here. Okay. All right. So let's recap. We said we had moose, porcupine. All right. Focusing on the M and the P. Mama, papa, masculine, feminine. Then we had monstrous, mon, that's moon. Pix, pie, fire, pie, pyramid, pyre, pyrex. That's fire, pie. All right. Then we take that a step further and we say it says that the pyx is a small cylindrical box with a cover used to carry the host outside the church. Well, you remember when you looked at the monstrous part, it was the circle. Outside the church, the word church comes from kirk or cirque, and it means circle. That's the real meaning of the church. So the church is always referring to the womb. That's the real meaning of church. And what happens with the pyx or the phallus is that the phallus is carrying the containments of the womb when they are moving outside of the womb. Mm. In other words, the phallus or the penis is really the womb expressing itself outwardly. It creates an outward expression to transfer energy. So part of the hidden message here is that the real power is combining masculine and feminine. With the energy that we are being pervaded with right now and the way it is possibly being utilized is to drive a wedge between those two energies, whether it's inside of your own mind or in the physical between a man and a woman. Because in all ancient teachings, see, it is represented. I got a new series I'm about to start called The Goddess Behind the God. And see, we've been taught that when, we get offended when it says behind every great man is a great woman. It's like, why does the woman have to be behind? And see that even that thought process was taught. It was taught because it's not saying as in lesser than. The whole thing of being behind means occult. That's what the whole feminine energy is. The whole idea of the occult or esoteric world is feminine because it is the real power that drives the expressed world. The esoteric, the hidden, sits behind the exoteric. So when the Bible is like, Jesus is like, Satan, get thee behind me. See, what the Bible did is the organized Christendom and Islam took away the feminine counterpart or the feminine expression and energy and relegated it to a devil or as being a maid or a wench or a servant or just turn it into a Holy Ghost, which they hid the Holy Ghost in the dove. The dove represents Columba, which would become Columbus or Columbia, the goddess that they created to sit over this United States, which they're using the candidate uh, to mimic that energy. But it's the same patriarchy that stripped the divine feminine of its significance and its rightful place on the throne are the same ones who are running the thing right now. And their goal has always been to separate the masculine from the feminine, because if you can do that, if you can unite them in holy matrimony, then you become God. And so this has to be hidden in these texts. You have to be able to figure them out. They'll tell you, but they're not going to tell you right out. And then they create the system that tells you how to fight against them. Do we understand that the people that many times you think you're fighting against have designed the boxing ring that you're getting in to fight in? Because the objective is to keep these two separate. Another is Maya in India, Maya and Pala. Look how this thing permeates throughout different regions of the world. Then we got one that the chemist or the scientists amongst us can appreciate, the mortar and the pestle, which I have right here. Look at it. This is the pestle. Anything with a st in it is a stem. It is a stand. It's phallic in nature. This is the pestle. This is the mortar. And you look at the side of it, you're looking at half of the almond shape. Hmm. And so you put something in here and you take the pestle. So the mortar is going to hold the divine substance. The pestle is going to do the grinding work, the penetrating to help cultivate this substance in the domain. This is the church. This is what church means. And this is what organized religion separated, and we are suffering from it. And we get to fighting against each other. They designed the fight. This is the most magical thing there is, because this is needed to do the grinding. This is needed to provide the holy venue for the activities to occur. It's simple. It's really simple. But I think what's going to happen is everybody going to be looking for their tribe. Everybody's going to be looking for their tribe. And we're going to have to see, your tribe will be based on how many things do we agree upon? How many things do we disagree upon? What are deal breakers? And then measuring out the percentage of deal breakers versus agreed upons versus disagreed, and seeing, okay, well, I think, we got enough things in common. Yeah, we can do something, because there will come it's coming. It's coming to where, matter of fact, it's not coming, it's already here. if you're smart, you're already finding your tribe right now where you can be fed. And a lot of it is cyber right now. But it's gonna get to where it's gonna have to become uh analog, actual living in the same proximity, you know, and having because there's gonna be a need to have private communication, as in, relatively speaking, but to where we can like sit and talk. If the post office still exists, I think snail mail is gonna pick up, like just putting stuff in the mail, old school, corresponding through the mail. Um, if you cannot communicate in person, you got to think about how um, we've been conditioned and prepared. Think about the Book of Eli. That always sticks out. The Book of Eli. Think about the last Planet of the Apes movie they just put out. All these things come down to a group of people who got these books, and that the general populace is has fallen into this mired state of just utter forgetfulness and unable to think. You go back to the 1973 movie. Oh man, what's the name of that movie? Shit, it's with Charleston Heston. Damn, it's on the tip of my. I got the movie too. What's the movie with Charleston Heston? Oh, damn! In 73, it's on the tip of my tongue. I gotta find it. It's gonna drive me crazy. Charleston Heston, 1973. Soylent Green. That's the name of it. Soylent Green. In Soylent Green, they had a group of people that they called the books. And these people sat and they had, they were the keepers of knowledge. Anytime society goes through a major transition, there has to be people who hold on to a certain fragment of knowledge, something that can connect knowledge that was in a previous timeline and carry it over into a new timeline. And people are going to be seeking out more and more of those people. And your sincerity will be your credentials. Here's another thing: more women teachers are going to emerge, and it's going to be teachers who are erudite teachers who are scholarly. More of them are going to be standing up. The energy of Pallas Athena is going to really be online. And I'm not an expert in this, and but Pallas Athena, I think, has some correlation to Damballa, Wada, Aida, the twin serpent in Voodoo. I think there's a correlation because Pallas Athena is a twin serpent energy, and it's a she's a goddess warrior, but through her mind, she emerges out of Jupiter or Zeus having a splitting headache. He said, "I've got a splitting headache. I've got a headache this big." The old Excedrin commercial. And then she comes out of his forehead. So she is warring through her mind. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of Pallas Athena energy rising up. No, I don't think abandoning technology algorithm. I think it's going to be some type of merger. You know what I'm saying? There's not going to be any absolutes. I think more it's going to be more of a mindset. And I think there will be certain technologies you will have to forego and you're going to want to forego. But to forego those, I mean, you're going to have to give up certain um what's the word? Luxuries, I guess. Certain luxuries. But I feel, I feel strong, like, it's like like people are going to be doing their own schooling at home, like in little communities. And you may be doing it online. So there's the technology. You may still be, doing it online. It's going to be like that verse. You're going to be in the world, but not of the world. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. Conveniences. That's the word I was looking for, Tony. Thank you. Conveniences. Jupiter swallowed Pallas Athena's mother, and then she came out of his head. Ain't that something? Uh, Nandi said Aquarius rules technology, digital, math, science, DNA, the data encoded inside the helixes, so they can't abandon it for the next. Yep. Yep. It's going to be a new relationship with, it's going to be new relationships, plural, with technology, I feel, you know, and because people mindlessly give in to anything new because they are mindless. And I think it's more about being cognitive of how you're interacting with life, period. I think that's going to be the regulator. Um, what else did I have? I think that's about it. I wanted to I wanted to look at these charts of, but I'm tired. It's 12:30. These charts of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. I'll say this. I pulled their solar return charts. That's all I had time to, because really we could go into their progress chart. Uh, what's interesting in Trump's solar return for this year, he has a stellium, four planet stellium in the 12th house, but that 12th house is intercepted. So it's like these are four planets that are um in the house of hidden enemies. So it's things that blocking these planets that he can't see because he's got Mercury at 21, Sun at 22, Venus at 25, a Gemini in the 12th being squared by Saturn at 19 of Pisces in his 10th house of career. And the career he's supposedly um jostling for is president. So there's some blockage here. Then uh there's a ego wake up call for him this year because the moon's at 14 of Virgo opposing Saturn at 19 of Pisces. So there's a wake up call. It's a reality check. So there's a reality check in here. But at the same time, his north node is in the 10th house at 12 degrees of Aries. So which could mean that he's destined to do something, to achieve something in the 10th house, but there's something blocking it. Then Kamala Harris's solar return, she's got Pluto in the first house, which is by any means necessary, force, um, underworld if I need to. She's got Pluto at 29 of Capricorn, first house, squaring her sun at 27 of Libra in the ninth. But is her sun, where's her sun? Her sun, her her 10th house starts at 5 of Scorpio. So the sun is conjoining her MC. So basically the sun and MC square and Pluto. This can be a form of treachery. And she's got a grand cross. She's got the Pluto, Mars, Chiron, Sun. So this is war energy. And this is like I'll do whatever I got to do to get to achieve what I set out to achieve because her sun is conjoining the MC, is prominent. So she just might get it. But she got shit going on too this year though. She got shit going on in her seventh house. The moon is at the apex of this hammer of Thor. The moon's at 12 of Gemini, sun at 27. Yeah. And so she's got Cancer on the seventh house cusp. So I don't know who, maybe it's something literally with the husband. Is this a marriage of convenience? Or but it's is we're showing one thing, but there's something else going on behind the scenes because the sun is what we show, the moon is what's internalized. So it's this is her solar return chart I'm talking about. Uh yeah, Pluto and Capricorn. No, this is her solar return. So this is not her natal. This is solar return is year to year. So we're looking at her year of October 20th 2024 until whatever her around her birthday of next year. I just don't feel like pulling all it. Normally I pull these up and show them on the screen. This is just a flyby. Maybe we'll do one at next couple of days where I pull up her both of their solar return charts. It's very interesting though. It's very interesting. Yeah, Trump got an intercepted 12th house in the solar return chart. So there's all these blind spots. And it just seems like too much of a shoe in for him because let's just be honest. She's not the most well spoken when it comes to, well, what are you going to do? Although we know that this whole thing, all these people are just, you don't get to these positions. You don't get to be in the game unless you're already in the game. But it's this is different from any other one we've ever seen because it's just too much. it's like, just these different celebrities and crazy motherfuckers like Sexy Red and all this this like we've never seen this type of, you know, Trump he's courting rappers and it's something this is different. So that means we gotta one day come back and look at how does all this line up with the US chart? Now that's the thing. Because right now Mars is in the eighth house of the US Sibley chart. So what's happening with the economy? What is on deck money wise? And the US is having its Chiron return. According to this Sibley chart, Chiron would have been at 20 of Aries in 1776. So that's the bigger show. Like, I don't like, will either of them, that's the other thing, will either of them be an actual president? I don't know. We'll come back and look at it. Well, the thing is, Nandi is in her natal chart, she has Mercury at one of Scorpio conjoining her sun. So she seems to be very matter of fact in the way she speak. This is what it is. And very surgical in how she thinks, getting to the bottom of things, scientific. And she's got Mercury trine Saturn. So maybe, but she's a Gemini rising. Maybe she's pulling the George Bush where you play the fool. So let's see. Peace Golden Timeline. There she go. She said baseball World Series can be an indicator of the winner. LA Dodgers won the World Series over the New York Yankees. Kamala was born in Oakland. Trump was born in NY. Oh, so the World Series is done. The Dodgers won. Very interesting. Good thing to notice. Some psychics said there'd be a surprise, one we couldn't fathom. Will they pick someone else? That's what I'm wondering. Cause both of them got some funny things in the solar return, and then you got to go back and just look at transits to their natal chart. Transits to natal chart don't look. See in Harris's natal chart, Saturn is now conjoining her Chiron in the 10th house. So that doesn't bode well. That's like a reality check. And it's like mm, secrets coming out too. Cause Saturn's opposing this stellium. Like she got some family shit with her. She's got Uranus, Pluto, and Venus conjoining in the fourth house. So there's some and it's opposing the Chiron, and there's some shit going on there. And this could be some type of karma. So they both got some strange things happening, and I could see where I don't know if there's going to be a president. And when you look at Trump's chart, Mars is about to make its ingress, well, yeah, into his 12th house of hidden enemies. And Mars is approaching, is going to approach his natal Pluto. Uh, let's see, Mars right now, see, 27. He's got Uranus at 17 of Gemini, 30. I'm trying to see where the semi-square would occur at. At 2 of Leo, when Mars gets to 2 of Leo, it will be in a semi-square to his natal Uranus. That's violence. And I'll leave that right there. It's a lot of strange. What does Cornell West chart? I don't know. I never looked up his chart. I gotta see if they got good data on him. Yeah, that'll be an interesting. Kamala may win, but something may truncate the win. There will be some major drama. Yep, yep, yep. She's got out of bounds moon in her, also in her. What the hell did I just do? Hmm. Where'd it come? Oh, there they go. I hit something. She's got an out of bound moon in her solar return chart. Trump got an out of bounds Mercury and Venus. It's funny they running clips about him just saying anything. Um, but that's a sidebar point. But I we'll have to come back and I'll actually pull their charts up and we'll look at them. And I'm gonna look for Cornell West when I'm so Mercury stationing. I didn't even realize Mercury. It's got a retrograde coming up. Oh boy. Let's see. Where is Mercury gonna? Oh yeah. Mercury stations. Oh, on the 22nd at 22 of Sagittarius, and it'll go back to 6 of Sag. So Mercury will be in its shadow on the 7th, of November. So right after. So yeah, yeah, this might be one of those. We're still counting. Yeah, this is damn. Am I still live? So the thing about all of this, am I still live? The absolute value of all of this is the little movie we watched with this Harold and his purple crayon ultimately was talking about, if I dare say, magic. The, Uh 72 algorithm said at this point, whatever will be, will be. And that's where what will we make things be? What will we make things be? What what new world for ourselves have we imagined? How much of our future have we hinged upon these dramas that have been laid out before us? Is magic really real? What is my imagination? Is it really active? Does it really have power? Do I really believe in myself like it's a religion? That's I think that's Zoe Williams' tagline. Believe in yourself like it's a religion. You gotta believe, Bowley. Because if you don't believe, the magic don't work. The big tall wish. Everybody needs to go watch that episode. I think it's the greatest moment in television history. 1960. Your ability to reimagine what it is to be alive. And see, the thing is, when these new communities come online too, you're gonna see a lot of people resigning. A lot of people are gonna get tired of working in environments that are toxic just to be able to maintain a life where they only get bits and pieces of time to do things they really love. And people are gonna they're gonna get tired of it, and they're gonna choose to move from prose to poetry. A lot of people are gonna move from living their life in prose, and they're gonna start living their life in poetry, in flow, and they're gonna find abundance in what may have previously seemed like something foolish or unpractical or impractical or unstable. There's nine, eight, and whatever, 8 billion people on this planet, and sometimes you get to thinking that, well, I'm doing this, and if everybody's doing this, and we can't all, no, but there's not a lot of you. There's not a lot of people like you who are interested in this type of information, but so people like you may be now preparing yourself to be one of the light posts. That as some of these other people start kind of looking for their fellow man waking up, oh man, I'm awake. I don't know which way to go. Then they might find themselves seeking counsel in some form or fashion from you. Divine Right says, once we learn how money really works, we will let the robots have the mundane labor. Why do you think we have every place you work, they got something called human resources? They tell it right there that the resources are the humans. And in astrology, resource, we associate that with money, currency, second house, house of resources. I have. They put it right in our face. Human resources. That's the currency. And we're going to figure out how to honor each other as currency. And with that said, I remind you all again, my webinar is next Sunday, November 10th, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mystical almond, seed of chaos and order. It's going to be a deep dive. You want to be there. And if you are a member of my 720 Sacred Teachings, they already will have access. I got to figure out how to get them their free access, make sure I got everything set up for them. Tomorrow, y'all, not gonna be able to have class. I need some time to finish putting my PowerPoint together for my presentation next week. And but I will be sending you all some private videos, some things I have not released on YouTube. So, but yeah, but I will because time is creeping up on me, and I need to put some I need to put my shoulder to the grindstone and get this thing finished. Because there's more things that I've added, and just you just gotta. I'm not good at you. Just if you just see these lives I doing whatever these videos, and you feel this, you need to come to this because this is the done data. This is where we get down. All the little stuff I kind of hinted at tonight, the mortar and the pestle and all that. We really, we're really gonna take a deep dive into it. And we are ushering ourselves into revelatory times. We are revealing what has been held for us to remember. That's the Osirian drama. It's about the member. Remember to put the member back together because it carries the data that came from the church. This is the church. And this needs to be able to go in and stir, but it needs to remain functional so it can bring its data point back into the church to add back to the mixture and then go back out on his business. And that's what we're doing right now. We are remembering, pulling forth that divine essence and creating new thought babies. And with that said, 720astrology.com is my website. As always, know the stars to know yourself. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I catch y'all on the top side.